Y'all, welcome to my channel, and today the reason why I wanted to bring up this subject is because I was having what I would call a crisis. I tend to make myself feel really small. I'll overthink every little situation. Instead of allowing that to happen this time, I can not allow it to impact me so much by analyzing what's going on at that very moment. So when I am feeling really small about myself, I choose to recognize why I'm making myself feel small. I will dismiss it like, okay, that's not that serious and it's not that deep. I don't need to make myself feel bad for being me or making a mistake. Instead of going into that dark place, I choose to, realize that this thing or this thought in my head that's telling me that I'm not good enough, that I'm not doing what I need to do right, is not me. It's actually words from other people that told me those things. So, today I just want to talk to the people that maybe feel the same way that I do. I don't know if y'all have ever experienced this, but I go through these moments where I will be doing very good and I'll be just doing my own thing. And then I'll have this thought pop up in my head, and then it make me think about every single thing I didn't do right and everything that I did do wrong. There's no positive thought when these thoughts come into my head. And now I know what they is. I call it the devil. Now y'all can call it whatever y'all want, but usually when I'm chilling and I'm doing my own thing and I just have this automatic negative thought in my head, I just believe it's the devil trying to get me down because he see that I'm not worried about him, I'm not worried about nothing negative, and I'm just kind of doing me. So now I know how to tackle it. For example, maybe you don't talk proper. Oh, you need to talk better because you don't talk good enough, you don't talk proper enough, nobody's gonna want to hear you talk, you don't dress good enough. Just any thoughts like that. If it was me, why would I tell myself these negative things? So that's why I feel like it's not me. So I separate that. It's all about recognizing those points in your mind and how you think in order to tackle those demons or whatever you would like to call them. We were all made in this life without a choice. There was nothing we could do about those traumatic experiences or those negative people that came in your life and told you about yourself. It's not until I hear a conversation from either my peers or my family members about me, it's not until that moment to where I start to question, am I, good enough? If I'm skinny enough, do I talk right? So, honestly, when you start to feel these negative thoughts back and say, this is not me, this is the person that was telling me these things. It's not me, that I wasn't this and I wasn't that. So when you start to see that, then you can start to separate the two. Well, this is how I think about myself and this is how others think about me. Since it was so long ago, it makes it feel like I think about myself that way. In all reality, it's those thoughts from family members or abusers or whoever, friendships that never worked, low-key haters. So now you can kind of, alter it and say, okay, well, that's not how I feel about myself, so I don't care. And you can, walk with your chin up, and you can, stand with your head high, and you can have the confidence that you always dream to have, just off that thought of knowing that it was not you that make you feel this way. So after you have the awareness to know that those thoughts that you had about yourself wasn't you, and in fact it was other people's, then you can dig deep inside and see, okay, who am I? For me personally, I have not truly found myself 100%, but I'm finding myself. So I would just say now it's time to start to find yourself aside from those negative thoughts. And then when you do, you'll start to see what you're comfortable with. And then when you just say no, or when you get to stand up for yourself in ways that you haven't before, it is exhilarating. It feels great. You feel fresh. You feel new. You feel like empowered. You feel good about yourself because you gave yourself boundaries. So if you're like, look, there's only a certain line you can cross before it gets bad around this bitch. Like, for real. That's what the next step would be. Setting boundaries. It would be, okay, now I know that these negative thoughts are not me. It's not me saying these things. Now I know who I am comfortable being. Okay, at that moment, I feel like it's impossible to truly know yourself 100%. We're growing every day, and our minds are going to change from when we're 20 to when we're 30 to when we're, so on and so forth. I do feel like it's important to know who you are at that moment, because like I said, things change. So who are you at that moment? And whoever you are at that moment, and whatever you accept and whatever you don't accept, you need to figure that out. And when you do, you can set boundaries. So now I see the ones that respect me are not going to cross that boundary, and the ones that do cross that boundary are the ones that I don't need to be hanging around, whether they're friends, family, a situationship or relationship. It does not matter. I'm not gonna be dealing with them because they don't want to really accept who I am and deal with me. So after you figure out, okay, now it's not me, now I know who I am at this moment, now you can go into feeling confidence. The way that I gain confidence is by talking to myself. I'm kind of my own therapist. It helps me realize who I am as a person. When I pray and then when I have conversations with myself, I can figure out how to stay confident outside of just when I have to stand up for myself. How can I stay consistently confident? If you're going to keep confidence is by talking to yourself literally every single day. You have to reassure yourself every single day before you even start the day, before you talk to the very first person you talk to aside from your kids or somebody in your home. You have to prepare yourself. So, right before you're finna leave out the door, I would say talk to yourself and speak life into yourself and speak positivity. Now, that doesn't always mean that that day will go exactly how you expected it to go, but you'll have that strength within you because you're like, okay, well, I prepared myself for that moment. So, for example, if I know that I'm about to go out and I'm finna go to work, right? I'm finna have a conversation with myself from technically every single body that I know I'm finna work with, but it's gonna be real enough for me to prepare for what can happen at work. When I'm talking to myself and I'm preparing myself, when I go to work and something happens and I've already prepared for it, you're gonna pass that moment of feeling like, oh my god, what should I say, what should I do, how should I act? You're gonna pass that because you already prepared for it. You already got like a backup plan to how you're gonna react to a situation. So go prepared. Make sure that before you leave the house, you got that mindset like, look, if this happens or that happens, I got some type of backup plan. And then boom, you go home and you're like, wow, I'm so proud of myself, because even though I didn't expect it to happen, it happened and I handled it as best as I could, and I feel really good about myself. And that's how you build confidence and character, by accepting those L's as lessons and as moments of truth to seek within who you are. A lot of people don't understand that having a healthy relationship with yourself is very important. I feel like a lot of people don't know themselves as they think they do. Like, it's just like underestimating your kid. Like, you might think you know your kid until you don't, and then you're like completely shocked at who they are as a person because you never really took the time out to really learn them. And so that's what it comes down to for how we feel about ourselves. Like, truly, I feel like you don't know yourself until you know yourself. Your mind is unpredictable, and if you don't really get to set boundaries and learn who you are as a person, you could do things that you would never expect you would do just based off you underestimating your mind. So the way that I kind of overcome that is by asking myself questions, testing myself on certain things, things that I probably would say, oh no, that's not what I'm really interested in. How do I know that I'm not interested in that if I never tried it? So I just kind of test myself in every aspect. I ask myself questions a lot, and don't stop. Don't underestimate yourself. Don't think that you don't know certain things. Don't think that you know everything. Don't think that. Then you'll start to feel like, okay, I'm more comfortable in this body of mine. I'm reading this book. I'll show y'all the book right now. Stop Overthinking is what this book is called. It's by Nick Trenton. Me personally, I am a complete overthinker. There is a technique that I'm working on, and it's called the 4 A's of stress management. And those are avoid, alter, accept, and adapt. You have this negative thought process in your mind. The first part of this process is to try to avoid the thought. But if you're aware of, like, okay, I can kind of avoid this, this is not really that serious, So if you can avoid it, try to avoid it. Then the next thing is alter. If you can't avoid it, then try to change the thought process and how you're thinking. See if you can alter it. See if you can switch it to a more positive light. Now, when you can't do that, then you would have to accept. And when you accept, you're more like, okay, well, yeah, this happened. Yeah, I'm okay with it, and I don't care. Okay, you get to a point, well, whatever, I don't care. And when you get to that point, then you can adapt. So those are the 4A. This really helps me, and y'all give it a try. I also want to mention that there's no competition. The only competition is you versus you. Because guess what? Everybody is dealing with some type of trauma, some type of negative experience, some type of stress, some type of hardship. We're all dealing with it, just in different ways. So nobody's better than the other. I want you to make a promise to yourself that you won't give up on you, and that you won't underestimate you, and that you will set boundaries for you, and you would stick to those boundaries, and you would keep going for you. With that being said, y'all, I hope y'all really enjoyed this video. If you guys liked it, comment, share, subscribe. I would love and appreciate it. And thank you for watching. Bye.